If you're looking to take your fighting skills to the next level, then you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to show you 5 fighting strategies and tricks that only pro players know about. If you want to truly take your fighting to a pro level, I'd also highly recommend purchasing the Fighting Masterclass. It's helped me improve so much, and I learned some of the strategies I'm about to show you directly from it. For more information, check out the first link in the description. This first strategy is all about making the most of hitboxes to your advantage. In case you didn't know, a hitbox is just the area around a player which can be hit to deal damage. But most people don't realise that the hitbox for all skins is identical and surprisingly large, and often bigger than the skin itself, so there are many scenarios where you can damage an opponent without being able to see them at all. 2 of the most common scenarios are when your opponent is making a right hand peek like this, or is just behind a window edit. As you can see, you can just fire at this space right next to them and deal damage. It really is that simple. This of course is really powerful, as you can damage opponents without any risk of you being hit back. This is an opponent's POV, and as you can see, if I was to shoot, I'd just hit the wall, yet my opponent is able to damage me. But just as important as all of that is making sure it's not used against you. So to do this, make sure that you're always positioned to the far left of your wall when making a right hand peek, and when jumping, strafe to the left to be hidden again as soon as possible. Just a quick bonus tip is that there are also some scenarios where an opponent is running and spraying at your box like this, and you can fire at their weapon to deal some damage through the wall. This is also really powerful. Strategy number 2 is all about this scenario where you're pressuring an opponent's box from above. The average player will always make the mistake of just spamming their pickaxe on the cone trying to take it, and if their opponent is any good, they'll just make a double edit for a free shot like this, or side jump out of the box for some free damage. Instead, pro players use this strategy to be completely unpredictable when pressuring from above. Nearly no one knows this, but you can actually break your opponent's floor piece through the cone piece. To do this, you just need to target the small line between the cone and the edge of the box, and you can take your opponent's floor every time, as they will be holding the cone instead. Once you've got it, you can quickly take the cone, as they can't double edit on you now, and then you can control the box while they panic. But if you want to take this strategy to the next level, you can actually also break the wall from this position as well. It is hard to take the wall from here, but that's not the point. It will just confuse your opponent, allowing you to take the cone and floor even easier. You can also do all of this with any spray gun to pressure your opponent even more and do it all quicker. Next up, this third strategy is all about the mechanic of phasing into boxes. Of course, all pro players do phase into boxes all the time, but the important thing that differs with pro players is that there is definitely a time and a place to do it. Firstly, you should only ever try and phase into an opponent's box if you have a pretty good health advantage on them, because otherwise you're just making the fight a 50-50. You also need to make sure that you're not predictable when phasing into a box. A prime example of this is constantly placing ramps in front of your opponent's box. We've left this back in 2020, and it will just lead to you getting pre-fired. Instead, you need to master the mechanic of phasing into a box just with momentum and no builds. This is hard to do, but completely possible whether you're running or jumping, and whether you're spraying or pickaxing the wall. The idea is pretty simple. Just get the wall one shot and then time your shot or pickaxe swing to go straight into the box. But the timing is the hard part, so the only way to truly learn this mechanic is a lot of practice. But it's definitely worth it. Just watch any pro player's gameplay and they all do this all the time. Strategy number 4 is all about what you need to do when you get hit hard and your opponent begins playing aggressively. Or in other words, the strategy of defensive fighting, and the key to this is getting counter damage. And this is simply what it sounds like, getting a good shot on your opponent while they aggressively push you. But how do you actually put yourself in a position to get counter damage? Well, a good start is a simple tarp like this. Place a ramp away from your opponent like this and then fully box up around it before editing through the front wall like this and making a full box with a cone in it. If your opponent isn't that great or is just desperate, they might fall for the trap of trying to directly follow you by breaking through the ramp. But now all you need to do is edit your wall and place a cone and wall like this to fully box your opponent, and the fight is pretty much over from there. On the other hand, if your opponent is a good player, they will just try to pressure you from every angle possible and continue to switch positions and tactics. If this scenario plays out, you need to continue to make new boxes and repeatedly try to heal. Even if you know you're not going to get it off, your opponent will get more desperate and less careful each time they hear you healing, and eventually you will have an opportunity to get a good pre-fire or make an open edit like this to catch them pickaxing the air for a free elimination. Strategy number 5 is all about taking high ground, and I'll start this strategy off by showing you the only ramp rush that you'll ever need. Start by placing 2 ramps ahead of you like this, and then run up the first one before turning to the right and placing a floor and ramp below you like this. Run up this ramp before jumping forward and placing a floor below you with another 2 ramps ahead of you. Now run up this first ramp before turning to the left this time and placing a floor and ramp below you again. And from here, just continue to repeat the process like this. As you can see, this ramp rush is literally twice as efficient for gaining high ground when compared to a regular ramp rush, and it may look complicated at first, but it's really not that hard to learn and practice, so it's definitely worth it. But using a basic ramp rush is not the only mistake players make when trying to get high ground, because using a basic side jump is just as bad or even worse. If you simply jump out above your build like this and catch yourself with a floor, you're completely unprotected from every angle and your opponent can get a free shot from behind like this. So instead, start by approaching the side jump just as normal, but make an edit on your floor like this and place 2 walls through the cone like this. Next, make the side jump, but focus on jumping up instead of out so that you can catch yourself with a floor and ramp below you like this. As you can see, the wall completely protects you and you've now completed an effective, safe side jump to take high ground. If you've made it this far into the video, then I am certain you will benefit from purchasing the Fighting Masterclass. This resource includes over 150 video lessons on fighting, taught by legitimate top pro players with multiple FNCS wins and millions of dollars in earnings. The strategies inside the Fighting Masterclass are what truly separates the average player from a pro player, and this is your key to improvement and success. Once again, check out the first link in the description to learn more about the Fighting Masterclass and unlock your full potential today. With that being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.